I'm Peter, and I'm going to be I'm going to be the first negative. Um, I would like to respond to I would like to respond to my advocate's claim that because Ukraine isn't part of NATO and because Ukraine has no security contract with the U.S., that we shouldn't be sending military aid to them. I'd like to point out that in the Budapest Memorandum in 1994, Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States promised that none of them would ever threaten or use force against the territorial integrity or political independence of Ukraine. They also pledged that none of them would ever use economic coercion to subordinate Ukraine to their own interests. And in order to uphold and to just let Russia know that we will not tolerate them breaking their contract, we should be sending military aid to them. Furthermore, invading Ukraine is just a first step in Putin's agenda. Surrounding NATO countries such as Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, and Romania will be affected if NATO does not put a stop to his invasions. The reason why he invaded Ukraine was to be able to let Russians into the borders again and to just assimilate countries that are populated by Russian people that was part of the Soviet Union back when the Soviet Union was in power. Other countries such as the countries around Ukraine are also heavily affected because those countries were most of them were part of the Soviet Union before it dismantled. The Ukraine also used to be part of the United Nations before the Soviet Union fell. They are a viable option for the U.S. to be. They are a viable option for the U.S. to be in NATO currently, and we don't need to expand NATO. We just need to make sure that Russia doesn't get farther into Ukraine and then into neighboring countries that are part of NATO by forcing them militarily. Okay, Ukraine was part of Russia. Putin states that Ukraine was part of Russia before the Soviet Union fell, and they because of that, they annexed Crimea. I would like to consider Tibet, an independent country that the Chinese communists annexed by force in 1950. For more than 60 years, the Tibetan people have been subjugated by their natural resources were plundered. As with Crimea, Tibet was a country too far away and of insufficient importance to be saved from annexation. If we do not want the country of Ukraine to end up like the country of Tibet, we should send military aid to Ukraine. The main problem of this is the lasting consequences of Russia's actions. Russia had invaded a legitimate country with its own that had its own government, and if the UN does not act upon this invasion, what's to stop other countries from doing the same thing? What's to stop other countries from invading other countries and taking them over just because they are smaller and because they had used to be part of that country before. And to further point out that without military assistance, the Ukraine does not stand a chance against Russia. Ukrainian forces had moved against the town of Sloviansk, which was being held by Russian forces. It's a Ukrainian city that was being held by Russian forces. And the Ukrainian army was unable to bypass the Russian defenses. Two Ukrainian helicopters were shot down. Many many Ukrainian soldiers had died, and there were a lot of civilian casualties.